to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next is roll call.
Oh, there he is.
Ms. Daniel? Here. Ms. Rose? Here. Mr. Johnson?
Here.
Mrs. Brenna?
George.
Ms. Linton? Here. Mr. Geis?
Here.
Mayor Woolley?
Here.
Mrs. Bauer? Here. And Mrs. Toko? Here.
6 members present. We have a quorum. That brings us to item 5.1, motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve. Support.
Motion by Councilwoman Brandana, supported by Councilman Whitten. We're going to add, just do it as open business, the one treasurer's item?
Yes, I think we're going to need to get copies of it.
Okay. So there'd be something from there, you want to make copies? Okay. All right, any discussions on approval of the agenda? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. Yes, the Senate motion carried. Item 5.2 is a motion to approve the acceptance of the minutes of the meeting held August 20th, 2024, and dispense with oral reading.
Motion.
I'll support, but
Motion by Councilwoman Whitten, supported by Councilwoman Daniels. Is there any discussion? Councilwoman?
There was just one item, I'm not sure if it was already corrected, but on page 6, CCR number 8.421, that one, it was actually a motion to postpone made by me and not Ms. Winton.
Don't have my notes with me. Doesn't change the. So you're saying 8.421-24, you made the motion and it was supported by Charlie Johnson?
Correct.
Currently it shows Councilwoman Whitten. Is that fine with the maker of the motion?
Which?
That was the motion to postpone for the parcel, the reason. What number?
It's the second to last item.
Second to the
Again,
last.
page 6, alternately labeled page 12. The last one, the last page.
I was looking for the...
It's the item that says to postpone until September 3rd, 2024.
Okay. Motion to approve the second reading of an amendment to the code of ordinance. No, that's not that one. Okay. Which one were you referring to?
It was the motion to postpone the rezoning of the parcel.
The rezoning of the parcel. Okay.
Yep. I made the motion to postpone, Mr. Johnson supported it.
I'm just looking at it.
I think where the confusion came in is I went to say something, you recognized Ms. Linton, then went back to you, so I think that's where it.
I do have Ms. Daniels and Mr. Johnson as the,
Okay.
so I would do.
So we'll make that modification. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. Yes, the Senate motion carried. Minutes approved with modification. Item 6.1 is Mayor's communication. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item 6.1 is a motion to approve the second reading of the amendment of the Code and Ordinances, Chapter 2, Administration, Article 3, Division 3, Standards of Conduct.
Motion.
Support.
Motion by Councilwoman Whitten, supported by Councilwoman Brandana. Is there any discussion?
Chairman?
Councilman.
There were just a few other items that I would have liked to see changed to the ordinance. One of them would be, again, the whistleblower and the First Amendment rights. The second one was under the Board of Ethics, the creation of the board. I would like it to include that vendors and contractors
I didn't think it was necessary to put it in there because there are such great protections under Michigan and federal law. I also discussed with Rick Hopper, the Director of Human Resources, that he's going to put together a pamphlet or a notebook for all new employees, and in fact maybe all employees of the city, to advise them of what rights they have under the law, and also to include a copy of the ethics ordinance.
Mr. Chairman, to that, would the whistleblower, do you know, would that be included in a packet of information that was given to employees? And as we spoke earlier, I would say that it should be given and then annually, re-upped on payroll systems can usually accommodate that, where you push it out, they click a button to, acknowledge it or electronically sign it, just so people forget stuff when it's not fresh. But is there any issue with putting it in here, I guess, versus, or, putting it in a separate document that's given to people, just so they do know what the legal protections are?
So under the statement of purpose, there are two Michigan public acts that are cited. Any public act in the state of Michigan cannot conflict with the state constitution, nor can it conflict with any other public act within the state of Michigan. That is just the normal process they go through to make certain that the Michigan compiled laws are consistent. They're not giving alternate direction, and ultimately they'll have to follow Michigan Constitution and the Constitution of the state of the United States. Restating that, I don't know that there's any harm, but I think, certainly the council could add something, but it's inherent in everything that we do. The only thing that the city government can do as a charter city is those things not left to the state government, much like those things not left to the federal government are reserved for the states. We are an entity of the state, self-governing entity, but as we swore as part of our oaths of office, we will protect the Constitution of the state of Michigan, the Constitution of the United States of America. So all those other rights, privileges, First Amendment, we're not restating every single pertinent MCL, only the two that in particular deal with standards of conduct for public officers and employees. That's Michigan Public Act 196 of the Public Acts of 1973. So that's been on the books for quite some time, and I don't know that, I've never heard of any conflict where anybody has ever said that that act precludes you from your First Amendment, nor whistleblowers or anything along those lines.
Mr. Chairman, I guess I would just add that if it's not included today, that we at least explore if Mr. Hopper is going to do something that, I know, we have things that our work with property abuse and things that have to be notified annually to employees, including whistleblower protection and anti-retaliation. So maybe if not tonight, that it still is something that's explored. Is your concern, Councilwoman Daniels, that this dissuades people from filing?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to discourage anybody from coming forward. I mean, we all know what can happen under, let's say, in the world. So having it in there just so they know what their rights are, so you don't discourage anybody. I don't think there's any negative of having it in there, but I do think there is negative of not having it in there because maybe somebody doesn't know. Maybe somebody's not as educated, and it would prevent them from coming forward as they see something. So,
time. And we actually let people know, ever since Mr. Hopper has taken over, our HR department's door is unlocked. People can go in there at any time at their own free will. All I ask is that they let their supervisor know that they're going to be stopping by HR, and they're given that right. People know that if I'm available, they can come talk to me at any time if